We're heading now talking with Patricia. Patricia, you're with Allworth's Money Matters.
Yes, hi. Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call.
Hi.
I'm 62 years old. I have a rental property, and I have my primary residence, and I have an Airbnb. The rental property is really just breaking even over the last 10 years. By the time I pay taxes, insurance, property management fees, HOA, I've just really been breaking even over the last 6 years. I have my primary residence with a mortgage balance of $180,000.
What's it worth?
Then $1 million.
Okay.
What's the interest rate?
And 2.5%.
Wow. 30-year or 15-year?
15.
15-year.
And
Okay.
then I have the rental property. The interest on that is 7%, and I have a balance of $110,000. And the property is worth $330,000. So I kind of looked.
What'd you pay for it?
$200,000.
How long have you owned it?
I paid $180,000.
Tell us about the Airbnb.
The Airbnb takes care of itself and then some. So the Airbnb I owe $54,000 on, but it's the interest on that is also 7%, and but it's profitable. I'm turning a profit on it. I'm making about $1,000 a month after all expenses.
And what's the value of the property?
That's worth about 200 and maybe 250, about 250,000.
And what did you pay for it?
165.
Okay, what's your question for us?
So I had the rental property. The tenants just left, and I'm trying to decide. I also have a vacant land that I purchased that I want to build another Airbnb on. So I'm trying to decide if I should sell the rental property since I'm really not making any money. It's just there building equity. But recently, the area that it's in has become like saturated with lots of new homes and rental properties. So I'm trying to decide if I should sell it and use the money, because when I did all the numbers, at the end I'm going to walk away with $296K if I get the asking price. And once I pay off the mortgage out of it, then I'll have $180,000 left, which I can use to pay off my existing mortgage.
But then you've got your silent partner, the tax man.
Yes, yes. So, and I have no write-offs for my tax except for the rental property.
What?
My children are grown. I have no deductibles.
What's the rest of your financial situation look like?
Are you working, retired?
I'm working. I have no plans to retire. My job, I'm going to work as long as I can. And maybe not full time, but I already estimated I need about $60,000 a year to live, and I make about somewhere between $150,000 and $180,000 a year.
And how much money do you have in savings, brokerage, IRAs, that sort of thing?
401k.
Yeah, all of that I have about $700,000.
Have you thought about doing a tax-free exchange with the rental with a better rental that you can Airbnb?
What is? I'm sorry. A tax exchange?
A tax-free exchange.
Yeah.
And what is that? I don't know what that is. Sorry.
Well, I always get confused between 1031
1031.
and 1031. Like, for whatever reason, I cannot.
1035 is in life insurance.
30-some years in this business, and I can never remember which one's 1031, which one's 1035. So it's called a 1031 tax-free exchange, and this enables you to sell that property, and as long as you buy something similar, like kind property, within, I believe it's 6 months on both the front and the back, you can defer all of that gain, so you pay no capital gain tax.
But I will eventually have to pay the capital gains, right?
Yeah, but if you can defer the capital gains, you have more capital working for you. So if the strategy is just to sell the rental, and you net, let's call it $200,000, you're going to have to pay.
It's a no-brainer.
Almost 30% for capital gain tax.
Right.
Yeah, and so when you said this vacant land, I don't know if it would be there or not there, but I would explore the 1031.
Yeah, so the vacant land is actually out of the country.
Okay,
Oh,
well
I
then
wouldn't- that's
okay. So a 1031 into an Airbnb, brilliant.
The Airbnb is not out of the country, is that right?
Yes, it's the vacant. Oh, yes, they are. They both are two different. They're out.
No.
They're both out of the.
Wait. Where's the Airbnb?
One is in Jamaica, and the other one is the vacant land is in Costa Rica.
All right, well, go fish. I have no idea how it would work there.
But if I
We
paid
have-
it,
We-
if I
we-
paid it,
But
You can't. I don't think you can do it. You can't do an exchange
Yeah.
out of the U.S. But so
but I can't. Could I if I sold it and used the money to pay off my existing mortgage of the house I live in, I would still have to pay capital gains.
Oh yes,
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 of course.
yes.
But if I bought another like property with it, I wouldn't
in
have
the
to.
U.S.,
In the US.
if you follow the rules
Okay.
and use an intermediary to do the 1031 exchange, they're not that complicated.
Okay.
I've done it personally, and I've advised many clients over the
Yeah,
years.
but the problem is that you'd have to buy an Airbnb in the U.S. The rental
Right.
property is in the U.S.
Okay, but let's say I'm going to do that, then I wouldn't end up paying off the mortgage because I'm just thinking I could be debt free.
You can't pay off the mortgage. You've got that. You probably $50,000, $60,000 in capital gain tax, maybe more.
Yeah.
Maybe not that. What
I
would you
was
pay?
thinking, like, take the money out of my
$150,000
savings
and the
account.
depreciation, $40,000 to $50,000 in capital gain tax between feds and.
Yeah, because my interest rate is so low on my present mortgage. I just thought, like, why don't I take the money out
Yeah,
of
I
the
wouldn't.
bank?
we're
I
not
wouldn't.
gonna-
I
we're
would
not-
not pay off that
Yeah,
primary
yeah.
mortgage.
You don't pay off the primary.
Oh, okay, all right.
All right.
Yes, okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah.
I was getting confused there. Thank you for tracking.
I could not imagine having a rental property outside of the United States. Having one in the same town, it could be challenging enough.
Yeah, and she wants an Airbnb outside the U.S. And by the way, the Airbnb is, it's popular for many investments. And when my family and I travel, we stay in VRBOs, which are
Same things.
similar. Airbnb, someone could be living in the house.
Okay, but when you're traveling with your family, you're not looking for a room. You're renting the whole house.
Correct.
And sometimes you see the same property listed on both. If I've done the same, and I'll look for VRBO and Airbnb and rent wherever's cheaper. Because oftentimes they're listed on both.
That's right. And oftentimes they're actually listed on. You and I owned a weekly rental for years
That's
and
right.
years, and it would list on all of the things. But oftentimes, if it's a condo, let's say in a Marriott, it will be listed on the Marriott's website as well.
Yeah.
What's
your point?
My point being is that what you should worry about in these particular Airbnbs is the local legislation around them.
Oh yeah.
So in South Lake Tahoe, which we are very familiar, both Scott and I are,
Because it's in our backyard.
yes, they have they put a moratorium on new Airbnbs or VRBOs.
And we took away the permits for many existing ones.
But the Airbnbs and the VRBOs, they have lots and lots of risk in them. You have friends that you read these articles about people, and then you read another article 3 days later where people are like dying with these things.
I had an acquaintance that didn't have was renting his house out, didn't have a permit, wasn't allowed to do it. He finally got busted on it.
Did he?
And he was telling me about all the money he's making on it in this place in Southern California. And I'm looking, I'm like, well, you're not allowed to do. Like, I'm thinking, how long do you think that's going to go on for?
Of course, you're doing well. It's illegal.
That's what I thought. There's lots of different things we could talk about that are illegal where you might make some money.
Yes, of course you're doing well. I robbed these banks. Listen, it worked. It worked perfect until the 13th one.